Hi everyone, Mike here from MyKeyReviews. In this video I'm going to be doing an unboxing for the Sony A7M3. This retails in at £2,000, however if you do want one that includes a kit lens, which I believe is typically the 28 to 70, it's going to set you back about £2,200 instead. So Sony advertises the A7M3 as their basic full frame lineup, and if you're comparing it to the A7R Mark III or the A9, then yes, technically this is a base model, but for a full frame sensored camera, this is anything but basic, and I'll be going through some of the features in a second. If we take a look at the rear of the box, we will see many features that this camera has to offer. So first of all, let's start off with the 24.2 megapixel sensor, which is a sweet spot for many photographers. It has an ISO range of 100 to 51,200 and can shoot 10 frames per second. Now the other incredible thing about this sensor is it has 693 phase detection autofocus points. This covers almost the entirety of the sensor, so there is a really good range of autofocus points. It's absolutely incredible. Then a much loved feature from other models of Sony cameras is the eye autofocus, and with this one you can do eye autofocus in continuous. Just imagine nailing that focus on the eye even at aperture f1.4. It really is something that once you use is very hard to go back. And in those situations where you don't really want to make a noise, you do have the silent shooting. And of course this camera also hosts the 5-axis in-body stabilization. Very impressive stuff. And a much loved feature which people have been wanting Sony to include in their models is the dual slots. People have been asking this for absolutely ages, and finally, just like in the A7R Mark III and the A9, the A7 Mark III also has dual slots. So if you're shooting a wedding and you're backing up onto a second memory card, then this is going to be an absolute lifesaver if one of your memory cards decides to corrupt. And a feature which is basically a bonus, not everyone is going to use it, but there is a touch focus on the rear screen. The camera also features hybrid log gamma, and finally it has super speed USB 3.1 USB-C. It's good to see that they have now updated the USB ports. And also on the box you can see many different accessories that you can purchase additionally, such as the vertical grip, which goes for around £330. You have the mount adapter for the A-mount lenses. You've got multi-battery kits, a battery pack. The battery which is included, the NP-FC100, retails at around £75. It is a pretty hefty price for a battery, and the battery charge, as you can see here, goes for about £85. You also have a new flash which is around 650, and other things such as the remote commander and the clip-on LCD monitor. Okay, so now it's unboxing time. So the first things to come out of the box are that is one hefty manual. So this is a help guide in many different languages. You also have a little leaflet to get your camera registered, and also you have the typical guarantee documents. And we have that's actually a really nice feeling strap. Nice, good quality. There we are. So yeah, we've got a shoulder strap here. And we have the plug. So this is for the UK, as I bought it in the UK. We have an EU plug as well. So there's another compartment just up the top. Wow, that is a beefy battery. This is so much bigger than the previous batteries. It's a nice, good feel, quality battery there. We have a little adapter. It's a power adapter, should I say. And we have a micro USB cable. And finally, the A7 Mark III. There we are, look at that beauty. Well, already I can feel that the quality difference from the A7R Mark II and the A7 Mark II is, this is definitely much better. The grip on here feels a lot better too. It seems like there's a bit more like width to the grip there. Yeah, really like that. Okay, so let's have a little tour of the camera. So up the top we have the multi-interface shoe. So if I just get that out, it's quite stiff. There we are, just pops out. There we are, so that's where you put your flashes and triggers, etc. Put that back. Then we have the mode dial. So auto, program auto, aperture, priority, shutter priority, manual. You've got the memory 1 and 2, film, scene, and this one here, S&Q. That's a new mode that, on my previous cameras, haven't had that one before. You've got the custom buttons 1 and 2, and just here you have the on and off. We also have the exposure compensation dial right here. If I to flip it to the side here, this is where the dual slots are exposed. That's really nice. I'm really liking this little button here. Before it used to be kind of like a push in and out and it would flip up, but having like this little slider makes things a lot easier. I'm a huge fan of that actually. So on the rear, just put that up a bit. We have the record button by the viewfinder. This is a very welcomed addition. Before it was kind of like on the side here and it was very easy to knock, and sometimes it was just like such a hassle. So it's really good that they've relocated this button. You also have the autofocus on button here, the auto exposure lock, with a little joystick here. Okay, that feels pretty good. So it pushes in and twists around, that's nice. We have a function button, so you can preset, I think, about 12 different functions. Really good to have. A little control wheel button. So you've got the with the button, you've got the display. If you click up top, right for ISO, and left for the like continuous modes and the timer. And then just below that we have the playback and delete button. Just to the side here we have the menu and custom 3. Then on the bottom, that's where the battery goes. Slots in just like that. And then here's the front, so you've got the lens release here. On the other side, so the first one to the left, okay, so that one is the for the microphone port. Just to the right of that, we have a headphone port and a micro HDMI. And then below that, we have a multi-input and the USB-C port. So if I can get a light right, there we are, so you can see that. With the screen, flips out about a 45-degree angle down, and you can also flip it up about 90 degrees. Now there are a lot of debates regarding the Sony cameras not having a proper flip out screen, and in some situations, especially for vloggers, it is an issue because you can't flip around and see yourself when you're filming. However, these screens, like, apart from lacking in that, these screens are actually very handy to have, and I'm personally a big fan of these Sony screens. So before I wrap up the video, I just want to say that the build quality on this camera is absolutely superb. It is a real solid feeling camera, and not only that, it's extremely comfortable to hold. Now, I personally am used to the older versions such as the A7 Mark II and the A7R Mark II, both of cameras which I actually sold to be able to afford this one. And although I got on very well, after holding this, I actually realized just actually how much could be improved just in the ergonomics, and Sony I think have done a really good job, at least for the first impressions anyway. Just holding this, it's so comfortable. I'm really glad that they've managed to improve it even further, and I think this is going to be a really positive for old Sony shooters, as well as people who may be moving over to the Sony full frame mirrorless market. I think a lot of people are going to be actually happy with how this handles. So anyway guys, that's it for the unboxing and very quick overview. Thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you in my next video.